The Lincoln Highway is more than just a road, it's a journey through America's past and present. Spanning from coast to coast, this historic route is filled with iconic landmarks, quirky roadside attractions, and breathtaking scenery. Whether you're a history buff, a road trip enthusiast, or just looking for a unique adventure, here's 20 must-see stops that will make your trip unforgettable. Be sure to let us know what we left off in the comments.
So our first recommendation is the Lincoln statues that are on the road. The Lincoln Highway was obviously named after and dedicated to Abraham Lincoln, and along the route, you'll find a bunch of statues of the 16th president. The seated statue in Newark, New Jersey is particularly striking, offering a contemplative look at Lincoln's legacy. It's also called the Children's Lincoln because you can sit down next to him. These statues make for a fantastic photo opportunity. Finding them along the route feels like a treasure hunt and adds a sense of excitement and discovery to the journey.
Next up, we have Independence Hall and the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia. No drive on the Lincoln Highway would be complete without stopping at Independence Hall, where the Declaration of Independence was signed. And just steps away, the Liberty Bell stands as a symbol of American freedom, making this a must-see for history buffs. Both sites are free to visit and provide an incredible look into the nation's founding moments, but be sure to reserve your tickets to Independence Hall in advance, as they are often fully booked.
Our third recommendation on the list is the Gettysburg National Military Park. It's a crucial stop along the Lincoln Highway, as it marks one of the most important battles of the Civil War. Walking the battlefield, you can almost hear the echoes of history, especially if you visit sites like Little Round Top. The Gettysburg National Cemetery, where Lincoln gave his famous Gettysburg Address, is a humbling place to visit and well worth adding to your trip. For a deeper experience, consider taking a guided tour, driving the scenic auto loop, and even spending a few days here if you have time. But one of my most favorite Lincoln statues is in the town of Gettysburg, where you see Lincoln talking to a tourist who's holding the Gettysburg Address.
Next up, we have all of the quirky and fun roadside attractions along the drive. The Lincoln Highway is lined with fun roadside attractions that give it a distinct charm. Stop by the Shoe House in Pennsylvania, shaped like a giant boot, or Mr. Ed's, an elephant museum and store with an animatronic elephant outside. The Coffee Pot is another classic roadside gem which once served coffee to travelers, and these fun stops just break up the drive and make for great photo opportunities along the journey. Be sure to watch the full road trip video to see all of the places that we stopped at.
Fifth on the list is the Lincoln Highway Experience in western Pennsylvania. It's one of the best places to learn about the history of this iconic road. The interactive museum features vintage gas pumps, early travel memorabilia, and even a restored tourist cabin from the early days of the highway. Visitors can also watch a short film that tells the story of how the highway changed America. It's a great spot to gain a deeper appreciation for the road you're traveling, and be sure to visit the historic diner in the back for a slice of pie and a cup of coffee before you head on. You can also grab your own Lincoln statue there to take with you on the route.
Following that, check out the Duquesne Incline in Pittsburgh, which offers some of the city's best views and is a unique way to experience a piece of transportation history that predates the Lincoln Highway. This funicular has been operating since the late 1800s and provides a breathtaking overlook of the city skyline. At the top, you can explore Mount Washington, which is known for its fantastic restaurants and overlooks. I recommend spending an entire day in Pittsburgh, as there's a lot to do, but if you can only stop for a little bit, then definitely ride the incline.
Next up, number 7 is the Studebaker Museum. Car lovers will want to make a stop at the Studebaker National Museum in South Bend, Indiana. This museum showcases the history of the Studebaker Automobile Company, which played a huge role in early American car manufacturing. Highlights include Lincoln's presidential carriage, which he rode in the night he was assassinated, vintage old Studebakers, and concept cars that never made it to mass production. Also, spend some time at Notre Dame University while you're there. It's a beautiful campus, and it's well worth exploring.
Next up, stop at the different Lincoln Highway murals. Throughout the route, you'll find several murals and signs showing how far you've traveled from New York to San Francisco. These murals are not only fun to see, but they also provide historical context about the towns they're in and harken back to when the Lincoln Highway control stations told travelers where they were at along the route. The most iconic is the mural in Franklin Grove, Illinois, next to the Lincoln Highway Association headquarters, but we stopped and took pictures at every single one we found.
One of my favorite landmarks is number 9, which is the Tama-Lincoln Highway Bridge. It was built in 1915, and it's one of the only bridges in America that actually has the word Lincoln Highway spelled out in cement on its side. This small yet historically significant bridge represents the early days of road travel in the U.S. It's a quick but worthwhile stop.
Following that, check out the Mahaney Bell Tower in Jefferson, Iowa. The Mahaney Bell Tower is a fantastic stop for panoramic views of the surrounding countryside. Standing 14 stories tall, the tower plays beautiful bell melodies and gives visitors a bird's-eye view of the Lincoln Highway route. You can take an elevator ride all the way to the top where you can see murals on the rooftops and exhibits detailing the town's history. It was a fun and unexpected highlight of the trip for us.
Number 11 is Omaha's Bob Carey Pedestrian Bridge. It's a fun and unique stop along the Lincoln Highway. It allows travelers to walk across the Missouri River between Nebraska and Iowa. This curving suspension bridge, it's a great place to stretch your legs and snap a photo while standing in 2 states at once. The views of downtown Omaha and the river make for a picturesque stop. And if you're lucky, you can also meet Omar the Troll under the bridge.
Next up, check out the original Lincoln Highway brick section in Elkhart, Indiana. This is one of the most unique spots along the route where you can see an original brick road section from the early Lincoln Highway days. This brick road is a rare remnant of America's first transcontinental road and gives a tangible sense of the history underfoot. Driving along this stretch feels like stepping back in time to the early days of automobile travel, and its preservation is an amazing tribute to one of the last remaining brick pieces of the original highway.
Number 13 is the Great Platte River Road Archway Monument. Spanning over Interstate 80, the Archway tells the story of pioneer travel across America, specifically along the Platte River. This massive structure houses an interactive museum detailing the migration of people from wagon trains to automobiles. It is such a well-done museum. The exhibits transport you through different eras, making it fun and educational as a stop along the Lincoln Highway. Plus, they have a great exhibit on the Lincoln Highway itself, which was rare to find along the route.
Next up, check out Golden Spike Tower. Golden Spike Tower offers an incredible aerial view of the world's largest railroad yard, the Union Pacific Bailey Yard. From the top, you can watch hundreds of trains being sorted and repaired in real time. And this stop ties directly into the transportation history that the Lincoln Highway represents, as trains went through here before automobiles. Be sure to take the elevator all the way to the top for the best views.
Number 15 is the Lincoln Memorial Monument in Laramie. I think this has got to be one of my absolute favorite stops along the route. The Lincoln Monument in Wyoming is one of the most dramatic sights along the highway. It stands over 12 feet tall, and the stone bust of Lincoln marks the highest point along the route. It's surrounded by scenic mountain landscapes and an awe-inspiring tribute to the highway's namesake. Also at that site is the Henry Joy Memorial, and Henry Joy was arguably the major advocate for the development of the Lincoln Highway.
Next up, be sure to visit the Bonneville Salt Flats in Utah. As one of the most surreal landscapes on the Lincoln Highway, the Bonneville Salt Flats stretch for miles in every direction. This otherworldly destination is famous for land speed records and is often used in films and commercials. If the conditions are right, you can even drive out onto the flats for an unforgettable experience. Note that it can be hard on your car if you drive on the salt though, and it's one of the most unique and breathtaking stops along the entire trip.
For you train and history lovers, our number 17 recommendation is the Northern Railway Museum in Nevada. It offers a fascinating glimpse into the role of railroads in America's westward expansion. The museum features vintage locomotives, interactive exhibits, and even the chance to ride a historic train, which was particularly cool. It's an excellent stop that helps you to understand how rail and road travel developed together over time. And the museum's scenic backdrop makes it even more memorable.
Next up, take a little detour off the highway in Nevada and go to Virginia City. I always love stepping back in the Old West with a visit to Virginia City, which is a well-preserved mining town. With its wooden sidewalks, historic saloons, and old-timey charm, this stop feels like a trip into the past, and it's one I visit anytime I'm in the area. You can visit ghostly haunts, learn about the old mines, and experience authentic cowboy history while there.
Our number 19 recommendation is as you enter California, you get to see the gorgeous Emerald Bay. The Lincoln Highway winds through some of the most stunning scenery in America. And Emerald Bay in Lake Tahoe, it's got to be one of the most breathtaking spots. The vivid blue waters, surrounding pine forests, and dramatic cliffs make this a perfect stop for nature lovers and photographers alike. It is especially beautiful at sunset, but it's also a short distance off the Lincoln Highway itself.
Lastly, be sure to see the western terminus in San Francisco. Your journey along the Lincoln Highway ends in San Francisco, where a plaque marks the highway's western terminus. Located near Lincoln Park, this spot offers a perfect place to reflect on the epic cross-country adventure. Nearby, you can visit the Legion of Honor Museum or take in stunning views of the Pacific Ocean. It's an ideal finale for an unforgettable road trip.
I gotta end with saying that some of my absolute favorite memories were chatting with people who had connections to different aspects of the Lincoln Highway along the route.
One more note, be sure to check out some of the great food along the drive. We love places like Federal Donuts and Cheesesteaks in Philadelphia, the Tin Roof Sundae in Nebraska, and of course the Monster Burger in Middlegate Station, just to name a few. Alright, that's it for this video. You can see the full Lincoln Highway road trip in the description. Let us know where we left off, and we will see you on the next one.